Mountrose, here with my wonderful partner and husband and co-director of Awakenings Institute, Dr. Phillip Mountrose. We're spiritual life coaches and healers, and we help awakening souls to increase their emotional and spiritual intelligence and access their full range of resources. So if this applies to you, then we're here for you. Our goal is to help you to live life to the fullest and evolve and grow in wonderful ways. Today, we're going to focus on busting limiting beliefs, and we'll be using the Mystical Shaman Oracle Cards to support us. We're going to start with a discussion of why busting beliefs is so important. And from there, we'll draw a card for more insights, and we'll also do a guided meditation to deepen the experience, as we generally do. So the reading, as usual, will be for the collective. It is something that hopefully will apply to all of us in one way or another. Then after drawing the card from the Mystical Shaman, we're going to also go deeper, probably with another card, and we'll do a meditation that will greatly enhance the whole experience. So as time allows, we'll also do individual readings for viewers. I have to actually put up it's like the chat disappeared. Here we are. Okay, I've got the chat up. So please say hello if you're here. If you're new, let us know where you're from, and whoever you are, please let us know if you have any comments, questions, insights, whatever. So thank you for joining us. And just as always, I suggest just breathing in light as you're here with us. Breathing in light, breathing in the most fabulous energy ever to enhance our experience of this time together. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to you, Phillip, and ask you to share your beginning insights, at least, on busting limiting beliefs.
Busting limiting beliefs. Well, we all have things that we believe in, and that's part of our structure, the way we exist in this world. We believe certain things to be true or not true, or good or bad, and that can be positive, helping us, or not. And it will filter or color the way we look at things. So the idea is to have something that is going to help you grow spiritually, which means you'd be more on a positive evolutionary track. So beliefs that I'm growing spiritually, I'm evolving, I'm able to handle the things that come up in my life, I'm following my excitement, I can use this, I can learn from this. So things are taking you in this general big picture positive direction. And so then you want to be aware of things that are throwing you off, like, oh no, I'm failing, I'm a failure, it won't work, this is happening again, I knew this wouldn't work out.
I knew this would happen.
Those common negative beliefs, which are understandable, and they were programmed into us probably as a young child and then are carryover from previous lives. So it's actually the very material, the game which we're here to play, to learn, to master, to use. So that's all part of the game, and the waking up is seeing it as such instead of taking things at sort of face value or programmed value of this is what it's supposed to mean according to CNN and what our parents told us and what the general mainstream tells you, to look at it from your more soulful, higher perspective of how can I grow from this? How can I create from this? How can I learn from this?
Right. And it's interesting because the way our brains are set up, and I think also from our programming, we're taught to evaluate everything like this is good and this is bad. So we believe if things aren't going the way we had imagined them, that's bad. And yet, if you look at it realistically, comparing it to a radar screen, for instance, a radar screen only shows so much. I mean, beyond what a radar screen shows, there's a whole world of different things that are happening. And when we're wanting something to occur, most likely the best things that are possible, we cannot possibly even fathom them. So if we are evaluating based on just this small picture that we see and not opening ourselves to the big picture, then we're limiting ourselves. And we actually then are promoting limiting beliefs, which are going to create more limiting results. Anyhow, if we can just be open rather than saying, well, this is good or this is bad, and figure that whatever is best for us is happening, then we're in a much better place to realize our dreams. Years ago, Philip and I we were in an organization that focused on manifesting things, and they often would tell this story just to give an example of why beliefs and why our evaluations of things can actually work against us. So this was supposed to be a story in ancient China, and there was a family where they had a son who was a young adult, in the prime of his life, and one day he broke his leg. Well, you could think, well, that's a horrible thing, right? He broke his leg. Well, as it turned out, the next day a war erupted in the area, and all of the young men were drafted. But he couldn't go because he had a broken leg. So he was saved from the potential casualties of war. So you could say, well, that was a good thing then. The point is that when things are happening, we can't tell for sure. But if we actually are kind of in tune with that bigger picture, we can assume that whatever is happening is the best thing and just say, well, I'm looking forward now to where this is going to take me, instead of, oh no, this isn't what I planned at all.
Right. Right. When things occur. And the idea is to sort of to be proactive with your beliefs and the ways you're looking at the world and living in the world without going into denial or repressing anything that, quote, is bad or difficult. There are challenges that come your way because those need to be faced directly, not repressed and avoided.
Right.
With the idea that, yeah, this is difficult, but I'm learning, I'm growing. There's something it's going to show me. We're sort of given what we need. That idea is, well, I guess this is what I need. So who's giving it to us? Well, that's our higher self. That's our soul and our guides for our evolution from on high. Well, it's sort of a rough analogy. It's sort of like a parent. A parent would set up things for a child's education, and the child might not like some of those things, might seem very restrictive, even punitive, but the parents see that as something that will help them grow and be a well-balanced human being.
Right. Right. While I have a chance, I also want to welcome Sharon and Nikki. I see you're both here. Good morning. Good to see you. And Sharon says her computer is wonky. I know what that's like. The joys of computerhood. Anyhow, I think just that whole idea of looking for the good in things is a really simple approach to really making the best out of any situation. And also, if something that you would interpret as being obviously bad happens, just to look at it coming out better than you thought. Well, this, this doesn't look too good right now, but this might come out better, and who knows? Who knows what might be possible? I think actually that's a good question. Who knows what might be possible? That's actually very powerful question.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think we're ready to draw a card?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. I guess I'm going to go into speaker view for a moment, and I'm also going to change to my webcam so you can see this card when we get it. And
Yes.
what I do is we have these mystical shaman cards. Now I have to put it over here so you can see. They're really beautiful and profound cards. So I'm just going to give it kind of a shuffle. And then what I generally do is I just spread them out so I can get a good sense of what's here.
And the focus of the card then, Jane, is for busting negative beliefs, or what?
Yeah, insights on for us collectively on busting limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. Something that would be of value.
So a card
for
will
us.
Give us insight.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, and that's important too, having a clear focus as you draw your cards. So here is the card, and it's called Lightning, and it's an interesting one. So Philip, did you want to read about that? It's number 30.
Okay, lightning. And as you might be getting, some of these are sort of an emotional shock, like lightning is an emotional shock in itself. And you might already be picking it up when you're noticing this card, and you're actually tuning into the card already if you're picking up some of the kind of jolting energy, shall we say, of the card, suggesting. The essence of the card is the formidable electrical discharge of a lightning bolt brightens the sky and strikes the earth, accompanied by mighty sound of thunder. The phenomena has a positive aspect. The light illuminates the earth and the psyche, but there is a destructive side as well. The bolt can burn and even kill if it's too strong. That's interesting. So the invitation of this card, the lightning card, is the forces of the upper world are investing their gathered energies to ignite you with new inspiration and creativity. Okay, got it. Allow this divine gift of awakening to take root in your being and enjoy a renewed sense of clarity, passion, and vision.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think I'll switch back to my other camera and regular view so we can talk about it a little more. I've had this card before, and it's interesting because I have my guidebook here too. And when I opened it, it opened right directly to the lightning card, which is interesting. It's kind of a validation, like, yes, this is the right one. And it is. I actually really love this card because it is one of those things. When you think about it, you think, well, is this good or is this bad? It's actually a perfect example of what we were talking about. Like, oh, this could be really bad. It could hurt something, or we could see it as it's a divine gift of awakening, as it says, to allowing that to take root in your being. So it could be the lightning strike is like some kind of a a new insight for us, and I think that really makes sense with this. Is how can we look at this when it happens, like lightning? If we see lightning, are we scared, or do we embrace it and say, well, this is interesting, I wonder what this is going to provide?
So are you thinking, Jane, there that like when we have like a lightning shock into our life that jolts our life, how we respond to it?
Right. Yeah. Right.
So then where our beliefs come in is our beliefs are an indicator of how we're sort of programmed or looking at whatever the event is. And it could be something that is very helpful. A lot of the things that are the most disruptives in our life, of course, are the most educational and illuminating.
Right. Right. And something with a lot of energy like lightning, it might set us aback a bit. But this, I think, is an important part of wanting to master your beliefs, to be able to come up with something to tell yourself that is productive, regardless of what the situation is. So if it could even be like you get in, your car hits somebody else in traffic, and you think, oh no, this is the worst possible thing. Well, what good might come of that? Maybe there's a lesson in it for you that you need, and that isn't a bad thing. Maybe it's that you need to empower yourself to say, I can.
I got a ticket from a policeman for not stopping at a stop sign.
Right.
And then about a few weeks later, I got another ticket for not stopping at a stop sign. Wonder what the message is. Stop, slow down, could it be? And that was it, just the momentum of being more aware of those kind of things, those uh, signals, more literal signals in life.
Right. Right. And another thing I think about that, as I recall it, because this was a while back, there was the option at the beginning to, I think, to do some kind of a
Traffic
training or
school,
something. Yeah. To
traffic
go
school
so that,
remediation.
right. So that you can kind of get back on the right track. And Phillip said, no, I don't need that. And then he got another ticket. And then he actually got a third ticket. And then he went to traffic school.
Right. I was kind of a slow learner back then. A fast driver and a slow
Right.
learner.
Right. So the other part of this, I think, is we can draw on something. You can maybe pick a phrase or something like, okay, so to focus on the positive aspect of whatever it is that's happening, how might I approach that? And draw another card. So what we're going to do now is to draw a card from the Gateway Oracle. I don't know where the cover went. Oh, this is the guidebook cover. So Gateway Oracle Cards by Denise Lynn. I love these because they have a very simple message. And so
We're
it's very
going
easy.
through a gateway to busting beliefs.
Right.
More insight on that topic from the
Right.
lightning to this
Right.
more detailed
right.
edition.
So how it is, we want the lightning to provide clarity for us. So how is that going to happen? This might look a little odd for the thing, but I think we can get a message from this. The card that I got is Savoring Pleasure. I fully embrace bliss in my life. So this is maybe another approach. I'll put this here with the other card and show you here the two cards together.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll
so
just
the meaning
put these
from
side by side here.
The meaning from the deck, which is very brief, by the way, I fully embrace bliss in my life. Savoring pleasure, fill your life with people, experiences, and places that bring you delight and joy. Live deliciously. Release the need to be practical in all situations. Surround yourself with beauty and sumptuous pleasures. That's
Right.
interesting. That's very different from the lightning. And sometimes when they're doing reading, it's very different cards, something of a juxtaposition where there's these very odd, seemingly unrelated elements or contradictory elements, and there's a paradoxical nature. So there is many deep meanings and affinities here that we're about to reveal momentarily as we get them.
Right. The way I'm looking at it, it's kind of interesting when you look at these two cards. They have similar colors and they both have a very light kind of this bounty of light in the middle. And what it made me think also is if you are in a place where you're in a positive state, if you allow yourself to indulge in being positive and creating positivity around you, the things that might bother you seem less important.
Right.
And I want to see, I guess Nikki was just losing her connection and commenting about that.
And for people watching, if they have insights, please note what you're picking up on too from these cards, what you're getting for the belief busting messages.
Right. I think it's a beautiful message because it brings us to something about how we live our lives. If we live our lives joyfully and allowing ourselves to have pleasure in our lives rather than every day focusing on, another day of suffering, kind of, then we're in a much better place when something challenging comes up or when lightning strikes and you want to have an insight on it, you're much more likely to come from a positive place if that's where you're living.
Enjoy the simple pleasures of life, and it could just be some food you enjoy or taking a walk, because there are going to be the challenges, sometimes big ones, that come like lightning. And when you're having a health challenge, a relationship challenge, a career, financial challenge, find the simple pleasures, people who support you, and easy, accessible things that soothe you, uh, to still enjoy your life, while you're figuring out what to do with the lightning strike of some maybe bigger challenge.
Well, and recognize that it doesn't have to be something huge. I think I'll go back to my other camera now.
Right.
When you're focusing on something that brings you pleasure, it doesn't have to be something big. In fact, I when I was thinking about this, our dog Buddy jumped up in my lap, and I can just hug him and say, I'm so happy to have this little bundle of joy around me. He says, yes, that's right. We're happy. So it is happiness is a state of mind. So I think that's very interesting. And one of the things I really like to say to myself during the day is I'm in the flow with joy and ease. Kind of like, okay, so what is your foundation? I mean, that might be a question to ask if you're wanting to savor pleasure and enjoy life. I'm in the flow with joy and ease today. And it's interesting from my perspective, from everything that I've observed with it, when I'm affirming that to myself and I'm actually in that place, things do seem to happen more easily and joyfully. Right. So it's not like the world, actually, if you look at the outside world as a mirror of us, then it's kind of like, oh, well, that makes sense. Because if it's mirroring us struggling and thinking that we're suffering, like life is so difficult, and look at what so and so is doing out there in the news or whatever it is, if our focus is there, then our whole world is going to reflect that, rather than something wonderful is happening. That's another one I like to say. Something wonderful is happening. I'm going to find out what it is. Looking for the good, always finding a way to look for the good.
Yeah, that's an important kind of discipline to put yourself into, and then at a certain point it becomes more your default, because a lot of our default beliefs were programmed into us. Reactions to traumatic things, our parents weren't there for us, they abused us, they just didn't know how to help us, and that shaped who we were. Like I have to prove myself, I'm not good enough, I'm not deserving. Those kind of very common, really core beliefs keep popping up. As we reprogram ourselves from this more soulful place, we can access more of the bliss and deal with the lightning when it hits much better.
And look at lightning, look at the positive side of it, just the dramatic, wonderful insights that might be coming.
Right.
So another thing that we do, and that we do here in our podcast often, is a meditation for going to a mountaintop to receive insights. And this we find really valuable, because when we shift our perspective to a higher place, whether it's a mountaintop or a star or a cloud or something like that, it tends to raise our vibration and our perspective. So we might be kind of down in the dumps thinking, well, look, and here's an example. We've had a lot of great days lately. And here in California, where we live on the coast, it's called June gloom, because what happens is that fog comes in because of the temperature differentials between the coast and the inland, and I don't know all the weather factors, but there tends to be a lot of fog. And some days, like yesterday, was very foggy all day, and today's looking that way right now. And you could say, oh no, another foggy day, and that could actually spoil your whole day, right?
Yeah. And it can affect you physiologically. Some people, many people are affected by the lack of
Right.
sunlight. There's a physical
Right.
impact that you're actually dealing with.
Right. And there is, I think if you look at the sun as the fire element, it's like that's the energy and inspiration. So if it's missing, and some people live in climates where there's a
Sure.
lot of rain, um, a lot of cloudiness, etc. We're fortunate that we have really beautiful times too, but it helps to recognize, well, that is likely to have some impact that you have to counteract. So why don't we look at that, whatever it is maybe that's happening for us now that could drag us down? How can we counteract that? We'll go up to a mountaintop and get a different view. So you ready, Philip?
Ready.
If you want, did you want to do the mountaintop? I mean, I could do it or you could do it.
You could do it.
Okay. Okay, so we'll just start out the way we usually do when I do it. Let me check the chat here. I can't see. Sharon said, sounds like Eeyore. I don't know what that means. But anyhow, we'll just go ahead. It sounds like, I don't know. Anyhow, we'll start by closing our eyes. And getting a broader view also is so wonderful, just from the perspective of connecting with the beings of light who are around us. So we can just imagine all those angels and masters and guides, all those beings of light who are supporting us in creating the best possible lives, and starting to breathe in that energy. Kind of what I was suggesting at the beginning. When you breathe, imagine breathing in the most beautiful light, the most beautiful energy, breathing in love, divine love, happiness, pleasure, just the pleasure of the day. What is the pleasure of the day? Breathing that in. And as you exhale, releasing anything heavy that you don't need, because we carry that heaviness. We think we have to carry, it's like a backpack. We have to carry it with us all the time, or like you're carrying a ball and chain around your ankle. Just release. Asking any energy also that's not your own, that's in your space, your energy field. Asking any energy that you've picked up from other people, places, and times to go back where it came from. Lovingly sending it back. Because we are impacted by others' energy from other people and places. And the mass consciousness thought forms that are all around us, and they're not necessarily that great. So just send all of that energy away from you. And in the same kind of idea, with the same idea, bring back any energy of your own that you've left with other people, other times, and other places. So you can feel that energy returning to you. And doing those two things, you might notice that you feel more present in your body. And then with that, breathing in lighter energy now, more love, more light. Imagining you're going to a mystical mountaintop, a glorious, glorious mountaintop that's above all those mass consciousness thought forms. So you might even see you're kind of rising through the mist or the clouds, those clouds of limitation, metaphorically, up to a mystical mountaintop, a magnificent place with a 360-degree view of the world around you. Just seeing the glorious, glorious earth all around. And allowing yourself to tap into that state of oneness and connectedness with everything that is, that we get in nature and from these higher places. And feeling it, I feel kind of like flying. Actually, you might feel yourself wanting to soar. And just allow that, allow whatever feels right. Maybe you just want to settle in the grass there and feel your body connecting with the earth. What would bring you the most pleasure? I guess that's what comes to my mind, interestingly. That joy of allowing yourself to soar. And like your weight is not in any way a limit to you. your body weight, and just fly around or rest, whatever feels right. And connecting again with the divine, connecting with, actually, we could say connecting with the light of the sun, which is our source, metaphorically, in a meditation like this, and inviting that light to flow down over you. Maybe connecting, as Phillip often does, with one of the masters or angels who are around you who might have a message for you or a gift for you. Phillip, is there anything you'd like to share? Are you noticing?
Yes, I wanted to have Metatron, Archangel Metatron, come through and share. And he's saying that beliefs are things that are both inherited or adopted, things that you use to navigate in your life on Earth.
Right.
And they can also be shaped and changed. They're malleable. They're not fixed. And they can even be replaced altogether. They could modify them, or so they are like clay. They are something that you were given, say, a pot, a certain piece of pottery and earthenware, and you don't realize that you can actually reform it or make new ones. You don't have to have the same ones that you did as a child through your whole life. You can have new utensils, new resources, new tools for yourself, and reshape them as needed as you grow spiritually and mature.
Right.
And you can fill the beliefs with love and light and the higher emotions, and also see the negative parts of life as something to balance with the positives to transcend them. So we thank you, Metatron.
Yeah. And you could notice just from where you were when you started watching this video or joined us live. Are you feeling any different? We make choices about where we put our energy, how we spend our time. And it is certainly our desire doing these podcasts to help you to join us and all of us together, creating more joy, creating more magic, creating a world within ourselves, a world that resonates with love rather than fear. It is a journey from fear to love, you could say, and you can measure kind of different frequencies of energy in between. And what we want to do is be in that highest possible place for ourselves, because that's the place where we're going to get the most from our lives. We're going to enjoy, we're going to take the most pleasure out of it. And it's also going to help us to evolve, where we can we're open more to the divine when we're in these kind of receptive, loving places than we are when we're down in the dumps with the mass consciousness of humanity. So just appreciating that we do have choices. We always have choices. So does that feel complete for now, Phillip, the
yes,
meditation?
It
does. Okay, so we're going to just bring back, if you received a gift or an insight, just bring that back with you. And also be aware that if you do what we call anchoring in this experience, like just making it clear in your mind what this experience was, maybe compared with other experiences you've had, you can always remember this to come back to this kind of a place in your mind, rather than whatever it is that might be bothering you. And we all have to go through that. The rational mind has a way of playing tricks on us. It tries to lure us in, sometimes not in the right ways for us, for for our highest good, certainly. So just remember that you have this place available to you where you can soar, where you can rest, where you can focus on the divine. And with that, we'll just start drifting beautifully back where we started from, where you're sitting with your feet firmly on the ground, connecting with the earth, grounding yourself to the earth, which is love also. And breathing in more active energy, preparing to come back to your normal waking state. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. That feels good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. On my screen, it says preparing live stream. I'm not sure what that means, but we'll just go with whatever it is. Oh, let me see. So Eeyore, Sharon said that Eeyore is the pessimistic donkey in Winnie the Pooh. That sounds familiar now.
Oh,
But
okay.
Eeyore, I didn't have that association. Thank you. So now we have some more time, and if anyone who is here present live would like to have a reading, we could draw one of these Gateway Oracle cards for you. It might provide some insights, just more specifically, like how can you bring more of what you want into your beliefs in your life. So just in the comments, please say yes. Because we don't want to, obviously we're not trying to force readings on anybody. Okay, Nikki says yes. Okay, so here we go. We'll draw a card, and I think I'll I'll switch over to the other camera and the other view again.
So this is an individual reading for the
for Nikki and
belief busting.
Right, and Sharon says she's open to one too. So we'll start with Nikki, and I'm just spreading the cards out here. I'll put savoring pleasure over here, and we'll draw. Here's a card for Nikki. Again, these Gateway Oracle cards are wonderful to have for insights for our daily lives. And what we have here, this is interesting. Cherishing self. I accept and love myself.
Mm-hmm. Self-care.
Right. Well, I think if you think of that idea of loving ourselves, if you look spiritually at how things evolve or holistically, body, emotions, mind, and spirit. Spirit is the deepest, and it is our perspective on ourselves. So cherishing ourselves, it actually has a lot to do with savoring pleasure, and it also is a foundation for us spiritually.
Right. The card's meaning is there's times to put your own needs above the needs and expectations of others. Put yourself first today, and you can buy yourself roses, eat a good meal, etc. Treat yourself to the way you would treat an honored guest. So treat yourself nicely. Do something nice for yourself, and that's a way of kind of honoring yourself and your beliefs that you're a worthy, deserving person. Because when, quote, the bad things happen, when the lightning strikes, you think like, I did something wrong. Kind of like a child says, you know, my parents are fighting. They're probably fighting because of me. There's something wrong with me that this is happening.
Right.
You know, they said something bad to me. So, hey, wait a second. I am a good person. I deserve nice things. I respect myself. And of course, then you can extend it to other people.
Right. Yeah. 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 That's a beautiful one. And Nikki says, I like that. Needed. I think that's a valuable one for everybody. And it's interesting because it goes along really well with savoring pleasure. Like, because you have to feel you deserve pleasure. You deserve to do kind things for yourself. They really fit together well. So thank you, Nikki, for that. I think that was great for everybody. I'll put that over here. And I'm going to draw one now for Sharon.
So for her busting belief individual card,
right, for collective. Her something to focus on. And before I do this, also I think I want to mention, because this is another thing about oracle cards, is the value of this is to bring it into your life. Like actually both of these messages, and for Nikki particularly, and anyone else who can resonate with that message of cherishing yourself afterwards, to really find ways to do that, because it is in integrating these things into our lives that then they can make a difference for us.
Right.
So for Sharon, we have manifesting dreams. My dreams are coming true. So that's another beautiful card.
The meaning from the deck is life goes in cycles. There's a time for planting seeds and a time for harvesting bounty. Right now is your time for harvesting. Your innermost dreams and desires are manifesting. Don't stop the flow by doubting the process. All is unfolding according to your highest good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Another really beautiful message. And again, I like all of them for all of us personally. I think that I can get a lot from those for myself, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So whatever's happening to you, it's a journey for manifesting your dreams. You know, it may not be what you thought it was going to be. It could be very different. It could be seemingly a setback, but that's the path to get there. You know, you may have to take a detour or seeming detour at times.
Mm-hmm. To get to your next step, whatever that is for you. And I think, to me also, I think I'll switch now to the back to the other view. For myself, I think that I try to remember that the best things that have happened for Phillip and me, we've been together for more than 40 years, so so we have a lot of experience together. I always think of those things together. The best things that have happened for us, I think, have been things that we couldn't have anticipated, and that goes back to that radar screen. In terms of manifesting dreams, your dream might be out here, or the best manifestation might be out there somewhere where you can't even imagine. Sharon says, working through a tough time, back to volunteering. Well, that's nice. Once again, useful, right? Yeah. I know Sharon has gone through some challenges, and I think another part of that is profound. And I had an experience of physically having a physical challenge where I didn't know if I was going to survive it or not. And there's something about surrendering to the divine also that I think is really important. At some point, I think we all realize we have to surrender to life, because we can take command with our thinking and our intentions, but we cannot actually change all of the factors that are involved. And surrendering in itself creates a really, I think, a very positive. It's a positive place to be. I think it takes away all of the concern about details. It's kind of like, okay, I surrender. And then, and it often, actually, it seems like it is often when people do surrender, then the positive things start coming. So this is the time also when we collectively focus on love and send it out to the world, because I think that being beacons of light for the world has value, and I think it also, that makes us feel good. I think it is a way of also realizing that we do matter, we do have value, because we can think, well, gee, I'm just one of how many billion people there are on the planet. How could it matter what I do? It does matter. I went through a time years ago when I didn't think that anything I did mattered, and it was a very deflating place to be. Now I feel like I'm divine just like everybody, and everything I do is my vote. It matters. And collectively, the more of us who are together like we are today, and wanting the best for humanity, bringing that love and light to humanity, we are doing something very, very important, I think. That's our vote for the world we're creating. So we can imagine sending love and light out to the world. You can send it to people, specific people, your community, places in the world where there are wars and suffering, or just all around the world as a whole. And from there, Philip, would you like to share what we're up to at Awakenings Institute?
Right.
And
I think I would refer people to our free resource kit for light workers and spiritual healers and coaches. You can see it here. And that's at tinyurl.com/spiritual-kit for a free kit with a part of our book and a video, an aliveness checklist, and more. tinyurl.com/spiritual-kit.
wonderful. Did you want to mention the coaching program?
Oh, and we have a coaching program beginning on Tuesday. I forgot all about that. tinyurl.com/HOL coach. tinyurl.com HOL coach for a deep dive into spiritual coaching and healing, where we teach online live every week. So that's a big growth opportunity for those who want to go deep into spiritual coaching and healing.
Right, right. We also do individual readings if someone is interested in a reading and some insights on where you are now on your journey, etc. Do you have a link for that, Philip?
I can show the link. It's
here I have tinyurl.com/spiritual-session.
Yeah.
And that'll take you to
tinyurl.com/spiritual-session. Okay. Good.
Right, right. And the last thing that we do is, we can tell you how to support our Soul Awakenings podcast. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can share this video with your friends and share and get the word out further, and maybe help some people to shift into more positive beliefs. You can also invite your friends to join you for our weekly podcast, because then you might have something that you can discuss, and both of you enjoy the week more. We do it on Sunday for a reason, because we want to help people to start the week off right. And our very final thing we do is just send the love and light out to the week ahead, and know that something wonderful is happening, and you're going to find out what it is.
Yes, you'll find out.
Okay, have a wonderful week. See you next time.